So, hello everybody, and welcome back to another Psychic in the City's Metaphysical Hour. For those that don't know me, my name is Seán McGeough, also known as Psychic in the City. I am a psychic medium based in Belfast, and I provide one-to-one sittings, teaching, demonstrating. If you would like to contact me for any of my services that I provide, you'll find all the information in the description below. So, today is part two, or the second episode in my new series, Psychic in the City's Metaphysical Hour. And today I am going to be joined by a very, very special guest who is so fascinating to me, Zanne Montgomery. So just give me just a few moments so I can go and I can grab Zanne and I can bring her on the video. And for those that don't know what the Metaphysical Hour is, it's a bi-monthly series here on YouTube where I will be chatting to various different people who are experts in their field of all things metaphysical. I also have a little part in it called Can I Ask You a Question, where people that are part of my Patreon will submit questions for me to demonstrate tarot readings. So I'll have everything from mediums, hypnotherapists, regression therapists, tarot readers, you name it, I'm going to have them all on the Metaphysical Hour. So I'm just going to go and nip and get Zanne, and then we will get going with finding out who Zanne is, I suppose. So this is my wonderful guest for today's episode of the Metaphysical Hour. This is a very good, fascinating friend of mine, Zanne Montgomery. So welcome, Zanne. I'm so delighted to have you here today.
Thank you, Seán. It's really good to be on.
So Zanne, I probably told you many times, your work fascinates me. And I don't even think I could put a title on a job description on what you do. I know it's regression, but that's a very big umbrella to cover what you do. So why don't you just take the wee opportunity here to tell me a wee bit about your background and what brought you to what you do today before we start telling everybody what it is that you do today.
Okay, will do. And it's really interesting you say that about trying to put a name on what I do, because I can't. That's always been my difficulty. And that's part of the reason I like doing the regression so much. Mm-hmm. So to give you a wee bit of my background, I suppose I have, like many people, I have like a two-pronged background. I have a very traditional, very conventional background where I'm a counsellor. I'm a community worker. I've always worked with people. I've always worked with very vulnerable people. So that's been my traditional secure background.
Yeah.
But throughout all of that, the other prong has been I've always been into the metaphysical. I've always done healing. I've always done channeling. I've been natural intuitive, and that's always been my keen interest and my passion.
Yeah.
So I've picked up so much. Now, I suppose what I'm saying that is I've picked up so much knowledge over the years from so many different strands of alternative work or spiritual work. And I guess that what I was really looking for was somewhere where I could use all of this knowledge and all of these skills, as opposed to having separate modalities here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring them all together. And the regressions, excuse me, are the perfect platform for doing that.
Yeah.
And when I found them, I wasn't particularly looking for anything. I just saw it was actually online. I saw this ad online for regressions, and something that just triggered something in me.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's for me. That's what I want to do. It was literally as spontaneous as that. So it was almost like it came out of nowhere, the path I took to do the regressions. But once I started on it, it was like, wow, this is me. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So it was really exciting. Doing the training, really, really exciting. The information was fascinating. It affirmed, as you know yourself, how this happens. It affirmed what I knew.
Yeah.
And that's really, that was so empowering.
Absolutely.
But the whole time, you might identify this as well, the whole time I was doing the training, I was thinking, this is brilliant, but does it really work? Is it really true? You know? So that logical part of my mind was still questioning what the intuitive side of me knew. So I went through the training and I did all the homework, I did everything I had to do, and it came to doing the practice. And I was absolutely panicking, completely panicking. So the first person I chose to practice on was my 18-year-old son.
Oh, I'm sure
Because
that was fun.
well, I thought there's no one more cynical than an 18-year-old. And if I can regress him, I can, you know, it works.
Yep.
And he went straight into the regression and really deeply into it. And that was me completely. I mean, I thought I was hooked before. Completely hooked once he went under. Yeah, so it was, so that's how I fell into, and I did fall into, that's how I fell into the regressions. But I very, very quickly learned that this was a platform that I could bring all of my knowledge into.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what I really love about them, because there's no such thing as a typical regression.
Oh yes, especially with yourself.
I know.
Because that's the thing, like we're saying regression, but your work is so much more than, because I've had past life regression done where I've lay on a bed for whatever amount of time and I'm literally just put in a guided meditation. You know, someone has spoke me through and I was like, okay, is that it? I'm not talking about bad at anybody that does that at all. But for someone like myself that shockingly I'm clairvoyant, but I'm not very visual. So I was sitting going, okay, what's this? And your regressions are different. It's not just that, you know, we're going to take you on a wee like guided journey, as in a meditation. It works on deeper levels. It works.
Completely.
If you know, you probably want to expand on that a little bit, you know, then.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there's several reasons for that. Firstly, because of the work I was involved in before I started doing the regressions. So I had already opened up, although I didn't realize it as much as I do now, but I had already opened up interdimensionally prior to starting on the regressions. So I was already channeling from cosmic guides.
Yep.
Although then I wasn't identifying them as being cosmic guides. I was just saying I'm channeling from the source. I'm channeling from somewhere.
Yeah.
But as the regressions began, then I realized it's actually cosmic sources that I was channeling from, and they became deeper. So I was really opened to that kind of interdimensional awareness and energy. Excuse me. And the second thing then is that all my work, everything I do, I simply serve to facilitate the client. So that means I put no boundaries on it. I put no limitations to what the client wants to do. I'm simply there to enable them to achieve what they want to do.
Absolutely. You
and
know,
it's very much, and you'll know this as well, it's very much like I don't teach anything, although I do workshops and I do different things like that. I simply help people remember.
Yeah.
That's my purpose. I believe that's my purpose here, is simply to help people remember.
Absolutely. You know, when I had you offered me a session and I was all for it, because I think at that stage, me and you were like researching the same people and the same things, and you offered me it and I was all for it. And then there was that wee part of me that was going, you've had regression done before and you weren't overly impressed with it. You know, it wasn't what it said on the tin. But what you do is different.
Yeah.
Like I went under like nobody's business. So I know that your regressions are different. Tell me more about that. Tell everybody more about that.
Well, it's because, I mean, I communicate directly with your higher self.
Yeah.
It's because I immediately, and the higher self to me is that greater part of you. I mean, it is you, but it's that greater awareness that you have. And that's what I tune into from the start. So it's like, to some degree, what I'm trying to do is to bypass your logical mind, you know, and literally go to the source. And during the regression itself, I literally step back, and it's your higher self, is that greater part of you that leads the regression. And the truth is, as I say, I'm just a facilitator, the truth is, okay, and this is not the analogy I use, it's like we're existing on many, many different dimensions and many, many different timelines at the same time. It all happens in the now. Everything happens in the now.
Yeah.
So every experience we have had that we refer to as having, and every experience we're going to have is happening now, right now in this moment in time. So what I do as a facilitator for you is help you shift your awareness from this current lifetime, this now and this current lifetime, to a different now, this happening in another lifetime or another experience.
Yeah.
That's all I do. And that leaves you or the client totally in charge of where they go, their higher self. So they're taken to experiences that are really, really relevant for them.
Yeah.
Just to take myself right out of the equation. I mean, obviously I provide the support, I provide the safety. I'm there with you on the journey.
Absolutely.
But taking me out of the direction of the experience creates a very, very unique experience for the client.
Yeah.
A very, very unique experience.
Absolutely. And I have to say I've experienced that firsthand with you as well. Like, you know, so it's very much open to anything and everything really. And it's so fascinating. And I know that you've been doing it for quite a while. I'm sure you can't even remember how long you've been doing it for. Like, you know, it's kind of like myself.
Right.
I give myself a ballpark figure on things, but I could be totally wrong. And I know you see plenty of people and you work all over the place as well, because I know you can also do your regressions online, which is awesome. So I know that you're working with people here, there, and everywhere, which
all
is
over
cool.
the world.
So if people do want to reach out to Zanne, I will leave her website and all that in the description of the video. Don't be worrying about that. But before I lose track of where I'm going here, because you know what I'm like, obviously you've seen that many people, and obviously we're not really allowed to talk about things too much without their permission. So I hope we'll have permission slips. You know, what is there any sort of like regressions that really stand out with you? You know, because I'm sure you have plenty of clients like me that are like, Zanne, yes, tell people about my experience. You know, so I know there's something you can't share.
There's been so many different regressions that to say that one or two stands out is like, you know, really. And I suppose what you say as well, I mean, although I refer to them as regressions, they're not regressions. People can go literally anywhere. They can go to the future, they can go to the past, they can go to the current lifetime, they can go to parallel lifetimes, they can go between lifetimes, they can go galactic, they can go anywhere, you know. Guides can come in and talk. It's just incredible what this, you know, this process opens itself up to. So to actually identify a few, and not only that, but people can become, okay, one of the more interesting ones I had was when someone became the consciousness of color. That was like, and you can imagine, because during the regression, the person is experiencing what they're experiencing. They're like the central character in the play of this lifetime or this experience. And they feed back to me, and it's all recorded for them. So they actually tell me what they're experiencing, even though I'm there with them. It's important that they tell me what they're experiencing, what they're going through. And then they'll have that recording at the end of the session. So it's experience firsthand. And what I always say to people is keep your logical mind out of it if you can. I'll ask the questions, I'll guide you, you just enjoy the experience. So this particular client started talking about how she was being swirled and how it's uncomfortable. and all sorts of abstract things like this, you know. And it must have taken me, I mean, it was fascinating, but it must have taken me 3 or 4 minutes to actually understand that she's experienced herself as colour.
Yeah, I would say that would be a hard one to figure out.
It really was. But it was such an important experience for her, because that experience then led to the experience of creation. So she actually was experiencing the consciousness of creation itself.
Wow.
And that was massive, and incredibly healing. That's what that woman needed in her circumstances, incredibly healing for her. So that's one of the more unusual ones.
Unusual. It's funny me and you saying a word like that about any experience, isn't it? You know, unusual.
I know it is actually. But what I love about them, and what I really, really love about them, is for many people come to the regressions for different reasons. People come because of maybe there's a repeating pattern in their life that they want to get to the bottom of, or they have an illness that they want to, you know, just to heal, or for metaphysical reasons, because they want to be taken further on their spiritual journey. And for many, many people, especially those people who've come for metaphysical reasons, the regressions are literally life-changing. They're very, very profound. And people don't get that at first, you know, because it's okay me saying just life-changing, but you have to go through that process of realizing it's life-changing to really understand that. So, you know, it's just amazing for me, and it's happened recently several times. And I'll say to people, give the regressions 6 to 8 months for you to really start to process them. Because it's a process that doesn't happen on the day. It's like the vessel's opened on the day.
Yeah.
And the wisdom's poured in through the coming months as the client's able to receive it. So it's all done at the client's own pace. And for someone to come back to me like 8 or 9 months later and say, "You're right, my life has completely changed, and it's taken this length of time for me to really understand how it's changed and to see the changes and to really accept the changes," is, that's what's really gratifying for me.
Yeah.
And that's happened. I mean, one of the first regressions I did actually when I was training was with a young woman, and she was crying. She came out of the regression in tears, and I said to her, "Tell me why you're still crying." And she says, "It's because I've remembered my life's work, and my life's work is to write codes for children that are on the spec, to write codes, to write a book that contains these codes." And she's an artist.
Yeah.
For children.
Wow.
And that was, I don't know, many years ago that was. And I came across her just last week, and she's doing the books.
Awesome. That's so cool.
And that's really, and I know they're not the unusual, because there's many more unusual examples than that, but they're the really gratifying examples.
Yeah. Whenever you actually get to something with somebody, you get that wee part of them, and I can imagine so it's such a fascinating thing that it's like, again, we're using the word regression, but we know that it's much, much more than that. But like with the regression, it's not just like we're going to a past life or a future life. There's the amount of healing that comes with them as well. There's me knocking my table over and everything. The amount of healing that comes with those on so many different levels. Like, and I can speak from my own personal experience here. Like, whenever I was done with my session with you, I felt like my skeleton was taken out and put back in and turned around and up, and it took me a wee while to physically adjust again. I wasn't sore, but I was aware that something had happened to me physically, like the physical healing that came along. And if you haven't noticed, though, from that, I've complained of less headaches and less sore backs, So I know that I got a lot of physical healing from that as well, which is a big, big, big thing, being able to let your body release that intensity that it's been holding for so long.
Completely.
And that's a big thing that I think maybe people don't really understand comes from these type of sessions.
Yeah, because there's a number of elements within the experience itself. And the first element is actually, which I hope, and I'll tell people I hope to do this, is for the people to experience different timelines, different lifetimes, or whatever way you want, or in between lifetimes, or whatever way you want to describe that, as to experience the regression itself. And then there's an opportunity to actually communicate with your higher self, and for you to ask the higher self any questions you want to ask it. And that's powerful,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's a healing component, where the higher self is asked to step forward and to give you healing where you need it. And because it's you giving yourself healing, you know exactly where you need it, really. It's just, I mean, the whole thing is just about, it's like me giving you a permission slip and saying, right, you do what you need to do, and you go where you need to go, and I'll facilitate that. That's really what it is. So for many people, that healing part is the strongest part of it, and they feel it so physically. And it's what they, when they come out of the regression, it's what they remember the most. Although you have the recording there, but it's very, very, it can be very, very physical, the healing, extremely physical. Absolutely. The other things I suppose that can happen with the regressions, because I tell people this is what I hope to do, this is what we hope to do, because I mean, guides can just step forward straight away and just talk for 2 hours. The regressions, by the way, the hypnosis can last for about 2 hours or so. So it's really comprehensive. But I mean, the guides can step forward straight away and just talk, or you can be taken somewhere for healing, and that can be, there's so many things that can happen. And because I'm just facilitating it, I allow whatever's going to happen and keep you safe, completely safe in that process.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing about the session that you do. It's hypnosis. There's that working with the mind, but you also do it in such a way that it's not like, and we're going to go down the elevator and get off at this year and this life, and that there's none of that. It's like you put on people under so easily. Well, I find anyway, like with me, like I was put under so easy, so quickly, and off I went, and thinking I remembered a good portion of it until I listened to the recording back, and I was like, oh, I remember saying that, and then I don't remember the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's great. And even like the listening of the recording back, it was a thing that, it cleared up a lot of questions that I had. And I know that this would be a common thing with people, a lot of things like, why do I feel this way with like family and friends and work? And, I don't want to pinpoint anyone in particular while I'm on YouTube,
I know, I understand.
But, and it just cleared up a lot coming from the different experiences that I had. Like, it wasn't even like it was linear from the one experience. It was from experience A and then experience B and then experience C, because we went to 3 different places.
That's right.
When I had my session. And it was like I got a bit of an answer from the first one, a bit of an answer from the second one that tied up with that one. And then, it was just, it's still something that I still listen to, and it's absolutely fantastic. Do you think that the because you're so focused in on your regression work, that it has helped your metaphysical work change and evolve completely?
Completely. Every time I do a regression, I learn from it. And every time I do a regression and the person's guides step in, because very often the person's guides step in, and those guides can be, and I don't actually, now at this stage, I don't actually think there's a distinction, but many people make a distinction. So those guides can be like earthly guides, if you know what I mean, or guides that we, the kind of beings that we think of as being guides. Like ascended masters, like angels, like, that sort of guide, or relatives, or they can be cosmic guides.
Yeah.
So they can be galactic beings who are stepping forward. But every time someone's guides step forward, there's something to give to me as well. So what a gift, what a gift to be receiving that in your work that you're doing. So it's really opened my mind, it's really opened my eyes. The work that I've been doing, I've been channeling galactic guides for years and hadn't realized what I was doing. And that's really stepped forward now. So I do a lot of work now around helping people to communicate with cosmic galactic guides, whatever you want to call them, interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
So that's because I've achieved the full realization that we ourselves are interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
And that's something that not many people actually really grasp, and it's like, and I've got this totally new understanding about how, for example, before we choose to incarnate, we get together a buddy team of beings who are going to support us and guide us and be with us. And that's who our galactic guides really are. And that's how well looked after we are, and how loved we are, and how supported we are. But once we come into this physical body, we forget all that.
Yeah.
And we get lost, and we get confused. So it's really, really important for us at this stage of our awareness, for many of us, to reconnect to our galactic team, to our buddies up there. And the regressions have really helped me to develop that work. And that's really exciting work, taking it forward. It's really, that's a whole new realm. And certainly here in Ireland, there's very few people doing that work. So it's really exciting to be, in a sense, pioneering.
Yeah.
A lot of that work as well,
And the thing is, not all your work is based in Ireland, though. Don't be saying that to people thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do anything, because I've taken part in some of your Zoom groups, which are available to everybody anywhere that has Zoom, So, it's like you're really reaching a lot of people and helping sort of, broaden people's mind on this. Like, if it had been, 5 years ago, talking about interdimensional beings. But as a medium, I can see that from a medium's point of view. It's like, it's this dimension, spirit dimension, interdimensional. Like, if it goes to stand out, well, if I can communicate with spirit, why can't we communicate in another dimension? I know I'm pointing like there, but
I know,
you know what I
but
mean.
that's
So
what we do. It's, yeah, that's what we.
it's like spirits over here. That's one dimension. So why can't we just go up here and talk to these lovely beings of light? You know, why
Absolutely.
can't we do that?
Absolutely.
And it's so fascinating that, you know, there's people like yourself now facilitating those groups for people. And what's the name of your little Facebook group? It's just left my head there.
It's the cosmic family of life.
There we go, the Cosmic Family of Light.
Of light, yeah.
Yeah. Cosmic, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna look some dumb here. Heart Centered kept going through my head. I'm like, oh, I know that's her website, I know that much. It's not like a stock here or anything, you know. But I kind of was like, your wee Facebook page, if people want to go and have a wee nosy, you know, that's where you post all your wee meditations or the info for the meditations, I should say, or group regression. Sorry, I'm still Mr. Medium. It's all meditation.
I've lost your sound, Sean. I can't hear you. Oh, you're back.
Oh, back again? Okay, grand. I'm still Mr. Medium. It's still all a meditation to me where, you know, I know this is like group regressions that you would be doing. And they're totally safe and they're totally fun, fascinating. Like, I can't get the words to describe them. Like, you know, it's especially, you know, someone coming there from my mediumship background, and I'm going in with an open mind, and I'm like, yeah, I went to such and such and seen this, and then you were like, hold on, and remember you got the painting out of the thing, the being that I seen, and I was like,
I was a blue avian.
Yeah,
That's
I don't really know what this was, and you're like, hold on, and I'm like, oh, this is nuts. But
that was a channel. That was a channel drawing that I did actually. So yeah, I do a wee bit of that as well.
I know. I'm like, yeah. Obviously, I know that we know each other, but we've known each other on Facebook much longer than what we've actually known each other.
That's right.
And I've seen your work. It's so fascinating. Like your channeled art and your channeled messages and things. It's like, you know, get your channel guidance from Zanne, you know. It's so great. It's one of the few ones I actually sit and have the patience to read because it is so fascinating.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good. Can I just mention, because I know we're kind of sort of coming towards the end of the interview, just you mentioned about the other work that the regressions led me into.
Yeah.
And I'm pioneering something. I know I've spoken to you about this, totally new at the moment. And that's twin soul regressions.
Yeah.
Or soulmate regressions. And what I'm doing is I've developed a method where I can regress two people, twin souls or twin flames or soulmates at the same time to shared lifetimes. So they're actually in the same play, if you like, in the same lifetime, and they're able to talk to each other in that lifetime. And it's an absolutely fascinating process.
Yeah.
And the purpose of it is so they can understand their journey together. Because what I didn't say, actually, I should have said, is a big thing about the regressions is the resolve karma.
Yeah.
So that's a really big thing about the regressions. And twin flames and soulmates tend to hold so much karma, or so much contractual business between them.
Yeah.
So it gives them the opportunity to actually resolve the karma and to really raise their awareness in their current relationship and their current lifetime. So if people are interested in that, because I'm just developing it, I'm offering that at a very reduced price. That's actually 3 sessions altogether. And that's being offered at a very reduced price. So if people are interested in doing that, but they have to do it together. You can't do it if your twin flame is missing or if your soulmate is missing. It has to be done together. It has to be consensual. Give me a shout, because I'm really keen to take that forward.
Absolutely.
To really get that going.
Yeah, I noticed that you said twin soul a couple of times there by mistake.
Twin flame, twin soul, yeah.
Maybe you didn't make a mistake in saying that. Maybe you should play about with that a little bit. The twin soul, and just see where that.
Yes, that's true.
Because it was a few times it came out there, so you know.
Because nothing's accidental, sure. It's not at the end of the day.
Exactly, and like you said, you are developing it. You are sort of just seeing where it comes to. So who really knows what it may be? So that is 3 sessions that you are going to be offering at a very reduced rate for that. So that's cool. And also, like, I do think your regression sessions will not talk money or anything like that, you know. But I do think that they are very, very reasonable in comparison to you know, well, I suppose it's reasonable in compared to anything really. You know, it's a very reasonable price for what you're getting.
I like them to be accessible.
Yeah.
You know, I really do like them to be accessible. So yeah, I do try to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have to make a living, but I do try to keep the cost as low as possible for people.
Well, this is it. This is what it's all about. And I have to say, like, I recommend your work. I recommend you
Thank you.
doing it. You know, so is there anything else that you do offer, or anything else that you maybe want to? I know you just mentioned your twin soul stuff that you're working on there. Is there any
Let me
more?
just give a list.
I do check and check and check and check.
No, anything I do, I mean, suffice to say, I mean, I do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I do is healing. It's
Yeah.
all around healing, and it's all about raising the spiritual awareness of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I do run the Cosmic Family of Light groups,
Mm-hmm.
And that's also cosmic channeling, light language, connecting in to that support that we have
Mm-hmm.
in the cosmic realms. I run groups, especially for women, about finding your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because women, and maybe that's just because I've been working with women for so long, but we're so restricted. We restrict ourselves sometimes. So I run groups for sort of about finding your voice. I'm a cosmic life coach, a quantum cosmic life coach.
Ooh.
So I know I don't talk about that very often.
Fancy title.
I know. But that just really means like coaching within the quantum consciousness. So it's like
That just
it's about raising the spiritual awareness.
Within the quantum consciousness. Yeah, okay, Dan. I'm gonna have to Google that once we're done. But yeah.
What if I don't give myself the title, Sean? Who else is
Oh, I support you 100% with the title.
But suffice to say, all the work I do is healing, and it's all based on the name of my website is Heart Centered.
Yeah.
And that's because all my work's heart centered. It's all based on love and unconditional love. I know that sounds a bit airy fairy, but that's the vibration I work on.
Yeah. It shows.
So that's
absolutely.
So check out. I mean, I put up what I'm doing, and check out what I'm doing on the Facebook page or on the website. There's always something happening.
Not to worry. I have your website, your Facebook, and all that to put into the description of the video. So that's all cool. Just we'll try and send people to because like you offer a lot of free things as well, which is awesome. You offer a lot of free online regressions, and you're always there for people to reach out and get information from as well. So it's a good opportunity if people want to go and follow Zanne on our social medias. I will leave all that stuff below. If you're not a social media person like ourselves, our website will be there. That is heart-centered.co.uk. So reach out. Zanne can work with you anywhere, anytime, any place. There's me just saying, yep, contact her anytime, But Zanne, it has been so fascinating, like every conversation that we have, you're one of the few people I walk away from the conversation scratching my head going, right, okay, need to look into this further, which is a good thing that you have that effect on people. It really is. So that's the thing. I know we know each other from the spiritual circles, but outside of that, they'd be going, great, more information.
Isn't that what life's about? But it's about that constant expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it really?
100%. But I do want to again just thank you so much for coming on and being one of my first guests. On my little metaphysical hour.
It's been a real privilege.
Hopefully we'll have you on again, and you'll be able to give us more info on your twin soul work that you're doing.
Yes.
So again, just thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be moving into my next little segment here. Called "Can I Ask You a Question?" But don't worry, you get to go for that. So, well, wasn't that such a fascinating conversation with the fantastic Zanne? Just the information that she has and the work that she does, it fascinates me so much. So now I'm going to just talk about myself, I suppose. So for those that don't know me, I am a psychic medium and also a master tarot reader. I am one of the approved Faulkner Tarot trainers. I'm the only one in Ireland to actually teach the 12-week certified intensive Faulkner Tarot training course. Which I am currently taking applications for, as the wonderful black and white deck is now back in print again. I can't say with all my lights there. So this is the first ever modern deck of tarot cards, full of modern images, to step away from darker, scurrier images you may find in more traditional tarot. For more information on that, check out the last episode of the Metaphysical Hour, where I'm on with Team Faulkner themselves, none other than Mrs. AF, Rhiannon Faulkner, the creator of the deck, and Julia Starr, who is also an approved Faulkner Tarot trainer. Now, I am launching a brand new 8-month mentoring program for people that are interested in their own spiritual development, in developing mediumistically and spiritually, intuitively, the whole lot over an 8-month period. And this is now moved online, where it works in sort of 2 different ways. Each Monday, I will be sending you your theory, and we'll all be starting back at square one of what it means to be a spiritual being living in this physical experience, moving right through to things like the aura, chakras, intuitive readings, mechanics of mediumship. So that will be on a Monday, where you get your theory, either video or audio exercise sent out to you, and following a structure, a training structure. And then once a week on the evening, we will have our Zoom practical class, where you can practice your card readings, your intuitive readings, your mediumship, whatever it is. And there is still some places that are available on that. I know that I've done a little video on that on my channel somewhere called can I train to be a psychic medium, or can I learn to be a psychic medium? If you're wanting more information on learning to become a medium, then you can 100% check that out, and reach out to me to join the fantastic little group that we have. Now, for those that don't know, I do have a Patreon, and that is all going to be linked below, where you can help support the channel and get readings done at every Metaphysical Hour that I'm doing, which is the bi-monthly video, bi-monthly series. So it'll be twice a month for the foreseeable. So you can definitely support and join the Patreon and submit your questions. These ones that have been put in are going to be answered privately on my little Facebook group. So I thought I would just sort of share you a little bit of the information on my mentoring program. And thank you all so much for joining in and taking part in my new little series, Metaphysical Hour. So I will see you all very, very, very soon, and have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whatever time of the day it is that you are watching this. Bye-bye.